Hello, I'm Tara Carter. Happy to be here today. I'm going to talk today about carrying the torch for our girls. So, I have two girls. Over here is one, my daughter Julia. She turned 18 last weekend.
Woo!
I should have been feeling only joy on her celebration day, her celebration weekend. She's graduating high school in June. She's so full of energy, hope, and ambition. I've always called her my little sunshine. Don't blush. Because she has this smile that's utterly contagious, can light up a room, and I love her to death. She's incredibly smart too, and she's headed to college in the fall. I'm so proud of her. But beneath the celebration, I felt something I didn't expect. Fear for her. I'm not just raising a daughter, I'm sending her out into a world that feels less safe, less free, and less fair than the one I would have hoped she would inherit. We stand here at the end of Women's History Month today, at a time when we honor the women who fought and bled and burned with determination for our rights.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, are we honoring their fight or are we letting it slip away? Dangerous question. It isn't just about politics. It's personal. For me, for every woman and girl living in this country right now. So today, I want to talk about 6 hard truths our girls are up against. And I want to challenge every one of us here, male, female, every one of us, to stand up for our girls, to protect their future, the way women before us have protected ours and fought for us. So first, voting rights. Let's begin where democracy begins, the right to vote. Recently, Congress passed the so-called SAVE Act. It's legislation framed as election integrity. But let's be honest, this bill makes it harder for women to vote, particularly those who are married or divorced. How? It's requiring IDs that exactly match the name of a person's birth certificate. It doesn't sound like a bad deal or a big deal, right? Until you look at it, you see that 34% of women in America don't have an ID that matches their birth certificate. Let that sink in. That means that 1 in 3 women, especially married, divorced, trans women, could face barriers at the ballot box. And men, no additional requirements, nothing changes for them. It isn't just about preventing fraud, it's about preventing us. You gotta see it through that lens. We're also seeing increased purges of voter rolls, disproportionately affecting women of color, and polling places shut down in urban centers where women are more likely to rely on public transit or work non-traditional work hours like me. And earlier this year, under the current administration, we've seen proposals to eliminate mail-in ballots completely in multiple states, something that disproportionately helps caregivers and working mothers cast their vote. How do I explain that to my daughter, Julia? How do you explain that to your daughters? That her voice might be silenced before she even casts her first vote. Second, our reproductive freedoms are being rolled back. 14 states have full abortion bans now. Another dozen have enacted extreme restrictions, making access nearly impossible. And some states, some of the most outrageous laws have passed recently. One making it a felony for doctors to even refer someone to an out-of-state abortion provider. Another requiring states tracking pregnant women's medical history under the guise of safety monitoring, tracking your history. And here's what's worse. Some states officially are trying to ban abortion bills through the mail, nationwide, even in states where abortion is legal. You can see that we've entered a world where pregnant 10-year-olds is not is not condemned as a tragedy, what happened to her, but now it's a political talking statement. Where young women, our daughters, can be forced to carry pregnancies resulting from rape and incest, where miscarriage is treated as suspicion and privacy is gone. I have to ask myself, what if Julia were violated in college? Would she be forced to give birth if she went to school in a southern state? Would I be forced to watch her suffer while politicians play God? This isn't hypothetical, it's happening right now. Margaret Sanger said it best, no woman can call herself free who does not own and control her own body. So no, we are not free, not all of us, and we will fight until we are.
Yeah.
Woo! Right.
Third, books are being banned, and words, as Rick mentioned, are being erased. Last year alone, more than 3,300 books were banned in U.S. schools and libraries. That's more than any other year on record in history. Books like The Bluest Blue, Genderqueer by Mia Covey, and The Diary of Anne Frank. Books that tell the truth about gender, race, identity, and even American history. And the bans don't stop at books. Teachers are being fired for using terms like systemic racism or white privilege. Textbooks are being rewritten to say enslaved workers instead of slaves, as if softening the language makes it softer points. And the word woke is now being banned from official government documents, at least in 2 states. And diversity, equity, and inclusion have been stripped from public university mission statements. This isn't about protecting our children, it's about controlling the truth. So how do we raise truth tellers in a world that punishes truth? Alice Walker once said, the most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. They want our girls to feel powerless, and let's not help them succeed. Fourth, our nation is divided, and hate is winning. We see it every day. It's growing. We're living through a moment of moral crisis. The divide in this country has never felt wider. It's not just disagreement, it's dehumanizing. Neighbors scream at each other over yard signs. Elected officials call their opponents enemies. Families stop talking over politics. Hate crimes have surged, particularly against many minority groups. We are watching book bans, protest crackdowns, and government threats unfold, not in some dystopian novel, but right here in America. And now we're seeing even more disturbing steps under the current administration, like raids on campuses where students are peacefully protesting, like immigration officers detaining people with legal status outside courthouses and college dorms. Professors, they're being fired for teaching gender studies. DEI programs outlawed in state-funded universities now. And let's talk about what happens when hate is institutionalized. Just this month, an official was photographed smiling in front of Venezuelan detainees inside a mega prison in El Salvador. As if cruelty is a photo op. It's disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the message being sent to our daughters. Power without compassion is acceptable, and treating people like props is just part of the job. That's not what I want, and I don't think that's what you want.
No.
Julia's headed to college next year. How do I tell her to speak her mind when students are being punished just for learning? She's entering adulthood, she's 18, in a country where fear is being legislated and silence is being rewarded. We cannot accept this. We cannot raise our daughters in a country where disagreement becomes danger and love becomes a liability.
Yeah.
Fifth, our girls are breaking under the weight of expectations. It's sad. Our daughters are not okay. The CDC reports that nearly 60% of teen girls in the U.S. felt persistently sad or hopeless in 2023. 60%. Suicide attempts are up. Emergency room visits for self-harm are up. Eating disorders are rising. And many girls are suffering quietly. Why? Because girls today have an expectation to be everything. To be smart, beautiful, bold, likable, but never too much. If they lead, they're called bossy. If they speak up, they're told to smile more. If they stay quiet, they're overlooked. They can't win. And then there's the pressure of online perfection. Threats from violence in school, a climate crisis hanging over their future, and a constant sense that anything could collapse in a minute. A young girl once told me she didn't want to share her opinion in class because she was afraid it would be too political, too controversial, too much. Too much for having a voice? That's what's been done to our girls. Malala said, "I raise up my voice, not so I can shout, so that those with a voice can be heard." We need to start listening to our girls, and we need to start lifting. Last, our democracy is under threat, and so is the future of our girls. This is no longer a debate of red versus blue, Democrats versus Republicans. It's a struggle between freedom and fear.
Yeah.
The administration has embraced policies that silence dissent, retaliate against the press, and undermine the judiciary. Election officials are being harassed into quitting. Judges are being openly threatened. Governors are retaliating against companies for supporting LGBTQ plus rights. We are seeing laws proposed to limit protests, our rights. Laws to criminalize drag shows and ban trans healthcare. Laws to control speech. We're also watching trusted institutions lose their brightest minds. Just this week, 3 Yale professors, experts in fascism, history, and philosophy, left the U.S. for Canada. Why? Because they believe our democracy is slipping into authoritarianism. These aren't radicals. They're respected scholars feeling that the country, because of fleeing the country because they fear what's coming next. And while we lose educators, we prop up unelected billionaires appointed to oversee the federal budget without a single vote cast. They spread misinformation left and right about Social Security, publicly mocking oversight, while real families suffer. Our daughters deserve to grow up in a country where expertise and truth are valued, not silenced. We're watching a playbook, and that's not new. It's been used around the world to crush democracy before. We've seen it. And through it all, our daughters are watching. Many are tuning out. It's a lot to absorb. Not because they don't care, but because they feel powerless. We cannot let them grow up in a country where democracy is treated like a suggestion. We have to remind them, you do have power, and the future depends on using it. Edmund Burke once said, "The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good people to do nothing." So let's do something. Let's do everything.
Yeah.
These lies around us are loud, but the truth still matters. We're raising daughters in a time when lies spread faster than facts, when misinformation is retweeted, reposted, and repeated until it sounds like the truth over and over again. Where deepfakes go viral, where conspiracy theaters make headlines, and where algorithms profit off outrage. We're watching elected officials use fabricated numbers, fake numbers, to justify oppression. We're seeing history whitewashed, learned that today, and science rewritten. We have unelected billionaires with massive platforms pushing propaganda disguised as data. It's fake. And our daughters, they're growing up in this storm. That's why we must teach them to not just speak, but to question, to fact check, and to think critically. We all have to. We must raise them to never expect a headline as truth, and to understand that being informed is a form of power.
Yeah.
It's their power. It's our power. Because truth isn't just under attack, it's being outpaced by the lie. And if we want our daughters to be free, truly free, we have to raise them to chase truth like their future depends on it. Because it does. When I look at what's happening today, when people with green cards are being pulled off the street, when books are being banned, when young girls are afraid to speak in class, I'm reminded that if we don't speak louder, if we don't carry the torch of truth and justice, our daughters will be left rewriting what we were too afraid to face. And if you're wondering whether the world is watching, they are. And they're worried for us. Our allies are distancing themselves from us. Our leadership has turned inward, authoritarian, and erratic. Erratic, truly erratic. Our global reputation, the one women before us fought to build, is crumbling. Our girls deserve better.
Yeah.
Woo! So this is our moments, guys. Our moments. We stand on the shoulders of giants before us. We stand on centuries of protest, sacrifice, and courage. And now, in 2025, that torch has been passed to us, all of us. And we're not going to hand it over dimmed or dying. We will vote, not just for ourselves, but for our daughters. We will speak, not just in echo chambers, but in school boardrooms, in courtrooms and legislature. And we will protect not just our books, but our rights, our histories, and our hope. Because, because here's what I know for sure. My daughter Julie is watching me, and your daughters are watching you. Your granddaughters are watching you. And what we do now in this very moment will shape the world that they grow into. And when I look at Julia, I see a woman ready to rise. And in this world trying to push her down, I can't stay quiet. I won't let her inherit a country that doesn't see her, doesn't hear her, and doesn't fight for her. Because I know this, change is not inherited, it's claimed. It is demanded. It is built brick by women who refuse to sit down and shut up. Woo! So let's carry the torch, guys. Woo! Let's march, vote, write, teach, organize, protest, run for office, cause good trouble, and make them uncomfortable. Yes. We can do it. Let's honor the women who came before us, not just with memories, but with movement. And let's give our daughters the greatest gift we can, a future they don't have to fix.
Yeah!
As Michelle Obama once said, history has shown us that courage can be contagious, and hope can take on a life of its own. As the saying goes, here's to strong women. May we know them, may we be them, and may we raise them. Woo! Let our courage be contagious, let our hope take flight, and let us raise our girls.
Yeah! Woo!